Hey, what's up everybody? It's Steve from Linux, by the way, and today I have the Framework 13 laptop, which is the fully repairable / user serviceable laptop that's modular and you can swap out parts as needed. You can replace anything in it from the screen to the processor, even change processors, swap out hard drives, memories, and everything. And we're also going to check out Linux on it. So let's go ahead and start with the unboxing. We'll take a look what's inside. So inside the box here, I got the standard input cover kit. Let's go ahead and open this up and check it out. It's got fun logos on there. So we can see opening the input cover kit here, everything is truly modular. I got the DIY edition, so we're going to have to put the whole thing together ourselves. Here is the top cover. And then as you can see in the back here, here's the bottom. So this is really as bare bones as it gets in terms of assembling it yourself rather than buying a pre-order. You can also see here that the arrow key layout is in a much more traditional format, which might be easier to adjust to. This is the first time I've ever had just a top cover before, and you can see that it's actually got this glass touchpad here. Pretty interesting to see just how thin that can be and still contain all the parts there, so pretty cool stuff. Next we have the bezel, and the bezel just goes around the monitor to hold it in, and I'm pretty sure it's magnetic. Let's go ahead and open this up here. So you can see here, here's the bezel, there's nothing inside of it, it's just, it goes around the monitor when we assemble that part of it, and it's also got a spot up top for the webcam. So we'll go ahead and put that down to the side here. I have the Framework laptop itself here. The laptop itself is very thin, it feels very nice, very solid. I wasn't sure what I was going to get from all the reviews I had read in terms of durability, but this metal feels like very premium, and I'm excited to get this put together and try it out. You can also customize when you order to pick the ports you want. So I have a DisplayPort, a USB-C port, 2 USB-A ports, and a Cat5/Ethernet port, and I have some more in the back also, and so that way I can kind of swap them out as needed. Really neat feature. We also have the 60-watt power adapter. You can use any USB charger, but I went ahead and got the Framework one. And let's go ahead and check that out. Comes with a power cord, and it also comes with a fairly decent length USB-C connector. The power adapter itself is pretty tiny, so you can see it fits right in my hand. It could easily go in a case or a sleeve or anything. One of the smaller ones I've seen actually. So pretty nice. Let's see what else we have in the box. Alright, we have the memory. Go ahead and open this up. For my Framework, I got the 64 gigabytes of RAM, and this is DDR5-5600, and it also obviously has 2 slots for RAM, so a lot of laptops when you buy them today will have 1 slot soldered and then 1 expandable. In this case, we have both expandable. Last but not least, we have the screwdriver and the hard drive. The rest of these we already got out earlier. So we'll go ahead and open this up. So Framework includes its own screwdriver so that we can put the whole thing together with just this. It's nice, it's metal, has a little Framework logo on there. Pretty cool. We also got the Generation 4 NVMe Western Digital Black SN850X, which is a 2 terabyte drive for the Framework, which should be both low power and super fast. We also got the Framework sticker pack here with a couple different color variations. Pretty cool, like that. Opening this up, you can see that a lot of this is already done for us. The screen's already installed, the 61 watt-hour battery is already installed, the speakers are installed, the CPU fan's installed, the Wi-Fi card's installed, so we really don't have to do too much other than install the NVMe drive and put our memory in, then put the top cover and the bezel on, and we should be good to go pretty quick. We're going to go ahead and install the memory first, which should be pretty straightforward. You can see here we just have a tiny SO-DIMM. We got these flaps here. So it should just pop right in. There we go, popped and clicked in. Not gonna lie, the hardest thing so far has been the stickers on the memory, trying to pull this off. It's on there pretty tightly. Gonna put the second DIMM in, push it down. There we go, clicked in, good to go. Hopefully opening this one is easier than the memory. This is just a standard retail box. Again, the nice part about this is that you can just go to Micro Center or wherever and get these new parts whenever you need. No custom anything here. We're gonna go ahead and take the Western Digital and just pop it in here gently. There we go. And there's a little screw there, which is a Torx screw. So we're gonna unscrew that so we can actually screw this back down. There we go. So we're gonna go ahead and screw that in. All right, so we successfully have the DDR5 DIMMs in, and they snapped in so they're good and secure. We have the NVMe Western Digital drive, go ahead and screwed down and secured. And the next step is we're going to put the top case on and then the bezel. So let's go ahead and check out this bezel here. I don't know if you see this in the video or not, but the bezel is definitely magnetic because it just kind of clamped down automatically to the top of the frame there, so that's pretty nice. Some of the nicer details why I have this open is you can see the hinges right here, and they feel very solid. They're nice and they're metal, and they seem pretty durable. The screws for the top case are actually already right here, right here, right here, and right here, so we can screw that in once we kind of plop it down in place. So let's go ahead and put the bezel on. It made this pretty straightforward and foolproof. That went on really easy, and it just kind of snaps in with the magnet here. Boom, nice. So the next step is we're also going to put the top case on, and right here all around the edge you can see there's magnets actually that will hold that on, which is pretty cool. So we'll just snap this down, snap this down, snap this down, and then I'm going to go ahead and push this down like that and flip it over. And from here all we have to do is screw in each little screws. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, there we go. And then we'll just take some of our dongles out and plug these in. You can see here that the Ethernet is like this cool translucent design, really neat. Let's go ahead and open the USB-C. And this is what we're going to use for potentially data, but mostly charging. I'm going to go ahead and put that one on right here. It snaps in, and it's got this pretty secure design where you actually have to hit this button to detach it, but that's in there good and feels pretty solid. Next is our USB Type A ports. There we go. And we're going to put one of those in too. We have another USB Type A. I don't think I've opened one of these right side up yet. I think I've done that backwards. We also have a DisplayPort adapter that will be handy for connecting to external monitors. This is what the ports look like when they're in, and if I turn it this way you can see it. They're flush with the back. They're very secure. They don't like pop out or anything. Really nice. And then on the other side here we have our headphone jack. We have our USB-A, USB Type-C. All right, now that we got power and everything assembled, the click pad here feels really nice and smooth, easy to click. The keyboard feels really nice also, very clicky, lots of travel. I think this has more travel than most keyboards. I'll definitely cover that. So this is one of the better keyboards I felt. Very comparable to a MacBook keyboard, the new one. Let's go ahead and turn this on and check it out now. Alright, so we've got it booted up, and now it's telling me that we are missing a boot device, and that's because we have not yet installed Linux on it. This is pretty neat. So they have one of the more user-friendly BIOS screens also, so we can pick to boot from a file, boot from a device, do our settings from here, and it's kind of weird to do backwards, but I think I can do it from here. There we go, and boom, now we're in the settings menu. So let's just check this out. The BIOS is showing us that we have our AMD Ryzen 7 7840U with the Radeon 780M graphics. And so it looks like we installed everything correctly and at least managed to boot up. So next we need to get our Linux ISO and see what happens. Since it's already April, I decided to use the Ubuntu 2404 release. This is technically a beta, but it will be released next week. There we go, so it's booting up. We can see the Ubuntu logo and the framework logo. You can see here too, we have physical buttons for the webcam and mic. So we can slide these back and forth to enable or disable them to make sure that we're not being spied on or anything. Pretty cool. So there we go, we got Ubuntu booting up here. The beta ISO was actually pretty massive, it was like 5 gigs, so that was pretty good speed to load up. It's already recognized our display and our touchpad, and it's looking really good. Oh, smooth animations too, so it must already basically know our graphics even. Ubuntu 2404 is looking really good on here. So if you can see it on the video, it looks like our touchpad is working, and I can adjust the brightness, no problem. I can adjust the sound. Yeah, if I click this, you might be able to hear it. There you go. And so the sound's working out of the box. We do have a power mode support too. So we have performance, balance, power saver. This is all looking really good. And then the resolution looks fantastic on here. So the text looks really easy to read. The colors look nice. The trackpad is really easy to use, even though I'm like at a weird angle, taking a video of this, etc. The first thing we also need to do is make sure that we have up-to-date firmware on here. So I did get an email that they have a new firmware that's more Linux compatible, and so I wanted to make sure to install that before we do any more testing. Alright, so I went ahead and I moved it to my desk, and I have Fedora 39 here, and that from the framework website is the best supported distribution, so we'll try that on here just to see how it goes. You can see it's got the nice splash screen and spinner and all that working just kind of out of the box. Pretty slick so far. It does have the AMD Graphics stack, so that should be using open source drivers and work fairly well. And so you can see here our brightness keys work. That's great. Our sound works. I don't know if you can hear that and make that loud. Cool. Let's go ahead and install Fedora and check this out. This is looking great though. Very vibrant screen. The colors really pop and the text is readable. I love this resolution at 13 inches. That's a sweet spot for having high PPI that makes the text look good but still fitting enough information on there. Let's go ahead and click install. This shouldn't take too long. I'll just fast forward it for the video. The installation finished successfully, so let's go ahead and reboot it. We successfully installed Fedora 39 on here. I didn't have to do anything or tweak anything. It just sort of worked out of the box. Let's go ahead and reboot into it and see how it's going. There we go. So welcome to Fedora Linux. We got the Wi-Fi up and running now, no problem. You can see that we have 16 different threads here, so that's pretty neat. In terms of the CPU itself, we can just check out the CPU info and check out like the megahertz. So you can see some of them go up to, this one's at 4800 even, and the rest kind of chill out when they're not being used. If you'll notice here too, we have a full 64 gigs of RAM. So on the Lemur Pro from System 76, we have 8 gigs soldered and then a 48 gig SO-DIMM. What that does is it makes it so that you can't have a full dual channel DDR. In this case, we have 2 DIMMs that are 32 gigs each, so they get the full DDR, which is really cool to see. And then having the open source graphics on here makes it really easy to work with. Fedora 39 also supports this laptop really well, so you can see that we can update the firmware through Linux itself. So let's go ahead and do that. Don't turn off our computer or remove the AC while the adapter's in progress. It's great to see that Linux support where even the BIOS installs, which previously were sort of limited to Windows sometimes, or you had to make USB key, that's integrated into many Linux distributions now through the work of framework and those distributions. And so really great to see, makes it a lot easier. As you can see now, we're gonna kick off that BIOS update. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this run, and then I'll fast forward through and we will reboot and I'll cover more. Quick pause in the video. All this time I've been playing with Linux on here, I haven't heard the fans even a little bit. The fans have finally turned on. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but they are blowing. They do make some noise, but that's the first time. So I've been doing software updates. I've been browsing the web off camera. I've reloaded a bunch of different distros on here to test some things out before I did the video. I haven't heard the fans for anything yet. So the fact that they're spinning on now is pretty notable. Wow. The fans themselves are not like a jet engine like some of the laptops either. These are definitely like 13-inch laptop fans. They're throttled up for the BIOS update, and then they normally aren't running because those AMD chips, they do run cool and quiet, and that's not just like a marketing thing. Compared to the similar Intel chip, these AMD chips, they do a lot more work with a lot less heat, which leads to better battery life and just overall, more solid engineering. A lot of people are really fans of AMD these generations rather than Intel, just due to that component alone. Framework is doing a really good job on updating these BIOSes also. There's a bunch of different fixes included in this one. So it includes the logo file, security vulnerability remediation, battery cutoff behavior, LED fixes. There's a bunch of different updates in here. And so it's great to see them standing behind their product and continuing to push out these new BIOSes. And these do include also some Linux specific fixes. So it shows that they're committed to all operating systems. The BIOS screen also really emphasizes keep the AC and battery attached while updating. If you like and subscribe to this video and somehow I get monetized, I could unplug it and we could just see what happens. So like and subscribe. While we're waiting for this to update the firmware, I should also say that I bought this with my own money. They're not a sponsor, and so everything you hear in this review is just my random thoughts on it as somebody who spent about $2,000 on a laptop. I don't normally run Fedora, but out of the box, the experience has been really surprising. I really like the update system. I like the open firmware. I like the animations and the smoothness and the quality. Fedora 39 is really nice, and we have Fedora 40 right around the corner, so I'm excited to try that out also. Let's go ahead and check out if the fingerprint reader works out of the box on this also. So we're gonna go ahead and scan a new fingerprint, and we're going to do my right index finger. There we go. So I just tap my finger up and down a few times. Here's my right index finger. So let's see what happens when I lock this now. Place my finger on the reader. Wow, look at that. Fingerprint reader working right out of the box. Nothing special. The enrollment process probably leaves something to be desired just in terms of user feedback, but the fact that I can unlock my laptop with just my finger, that is really cool. So I just suspended it now, and now I'm gonna hit my finger, boom. That's like instant too. That's a really fast, nice fingerprint reader. I've also opened up the Webcam software, so you can see by default, there is no webcam found, and that's because of our hardware switches. So I'm gonna go ahead and open these up, and then we're gonna check this out. There we go. So now it sees the webcam, and we have lights this time, so they're studio lights. I'm gonna go ahead and record this, and then you can check out the quality. All right, so right now we're recording through the webcam and the microphone of the Framework 13. Right off the bat, I can tell that the video is much smoother than other Linux webcams, and so this web camera is doing great, especially because all the lights behind me are pointed at it, and so normally you'd want it in reverse where the lights are shining on the subject, and so this is really great. Happy to see that. All right, so I just installed Google Chrome and I ran the speedometer test, and you can see we got a score of 366, which is really great. That's a very high score. I didn't do anything either with like the power profiles here. So if I go to the performance profile, we can see if that changes the result or not. Let's see. And I just tested it on the performance profile and we hit 385. That is a fantastic score. That is right up there with any sort of newer MacBook. Very impressive. I'm gonna run the test one more time and I'm going to take it off power and we're gonna see how it runs. So I'm unplugging the power and we're gonna hit test again and we'll let this go through it. On the Browser Bench 2.0, with the power unplugged, we can still get 312. That's a great score. It compares really well to any laptop you can find. It's definitely, I would say, up in the best. This is going to be a fantastic browsing experience no matter where you are, whether you're plugged in or not. You can also see here that I ran the test and the battery didn't even drop down. So we're showing right now 9 hours and 7 minutes on that performance profile. And we can definitely go down on the brightness. I had the brightness like all the way up. DDR dual channel memory may be making a difference here along with the AMD processor. This is definitely a great mobile workstation. Real quick, let's just check out suspend and resume. So earlier I had already just suspended it by hitting the power button / fingerprint reader. And that appears to work great. And that just, you can see here, that whole cycle was nearly instant. It's even, you know, on film, it goes really quick. Let's go ahead and shut it. And then we'll go ahead and reopen it again. All right, and we're back. And then I can just log in. Yeah, that works fantastic. Really happy with the Linux compatibility on this one. It's time to wrap up the review, and it's not going to be very entertaining. The Frame.work 13 AMD edition, it's just a great laptop. I didn't find anything I didn't like about it. The screen resolution is great. I really like the PPI. The text is easy to read. I don't even have to use scaling. The brightness is good. It can be used indoors, outdoors. It's got a nice matte finish. The keyboard is top-notch. Very clicky, lots of travel there. I can have any ports I want, so it's no problem. If I want other ports, I can just swap them out. And I can fix this, I can service it. It came in pieces, I built it. It was just a really fun and fantastic experience. And again, I just like the feel of it. I like the quality. It's much more robust than I thought it would be. And so I'd highly recommend it. If you are looking for a laptop which you can repair, which you can run Linux or Windows on, no problem. Use top-notch hardware, one of the better webcams I've seen also. This is the one to get. It's a really great laptop. And it works with Linux. So we can do firmware updates. You can set the power profiles. So we have the more powerful modes for when we're plugged in, and we can use the low power modes when we're on the go, get good battery life. All of that is just the complete package. The framework is above and beyond my expectations. The speakers are really good. They put out great sound. They're compatible with Linux. It all just works. I really don't have anything entertaining to say for YouTube. It's just a solid laptop. It exceeded my expectations. In the past, I've owned X-Wing Carbons, and I've owned HP Elites and all sorts of different laptops, but this is definitely on the top of the list. Like, I didn't expect it to just feel so premium, and it worked out of the box with Linux with just everything. It didn't come pre-installed with Linux, but it really was easy to get that going. And I like the BIOS, I like all the features there. It's the complete package. So if you're looking for a good laptop, I definitely recommend checking out the framework. See you next time.